So what advice do you have for leaders out there that might feel that some of their team are not emotionally connected to the purpose and the mission of the company? How might they go about bringing this together?
It's a challenging and it's a very tough question to answer, Mick. But for me, human, being as human as you are as a leader would definitely help. In one of the studies that I've read, Mick, in terms of leadership, this was a recent article that was published by edX, and they mentioned that during the Great Resignation era, like last year, the key reason why employees left the organization is because leaders didn't know how to appreciate these employees. Had it been that these leaders were trained on leadership or leadership development or how to care with their people, but then again, from my perspective, it's a bit common sense. Had it been that they're human or they became human during those times and went up until now, they could have retained all of these employees. Employees could have been emotionally connected with the way that you treat them because it all starts from the leaders, the culture of the organizations. We set that as leaders in the organization, and we model what is the type of employee that we need to have in the organization. If employees are seeing us as not emotionally connected to the mission of the organization, they will do the same thing. So I believe we start with us as leaders being self-aware. We take a look at what are those things that we need to improve on as a leader, and that will resonate to our employees. And being human, for me, being as humane as you are, you can definitely get a lot from our employees.
Yeah, so I'm loving this takeaway here about being human. And what I'm taking away there is showing that you care, because no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's the first connection. Like if you're going to connect with someone, you want to feel like they care about you. So I like this being human and this caring element. And the second takeaway I took from that, Ray, was establishing the culture that you want starts with role modeling the behaviors that you want to see. What other challenges do you see in the workplace at the moment around leadership development?
So as you would imagine, like when we started, it's like around like 30 people in the organization, and now we're around 5,000 plus. It means that over time, or for the past 2 years, we've hired a lot of leaders in the organization. So one of the key things that we want to ensure is that all of these leaders are aligned. We're aligned with the core values of the organization. They are integrated, they are assimilated with the culture and how we do things. At the same time, for the internal ones, we need to upskill them with the hard skills that they needed so that they can ensure that they can manage all of the teams that they're handling now. So two things that I'm looking at this point, Meg. The first one would be that one from the external leaders that we hired in the organization. They have to be assimilated to the culture of the organization well. At the same time, the internal ones, we have to train them so well on the hard skills. So these two are two different types of talents that we have, but if we definitely combine them, these are powerful things.
You spoke about bringing in leaders from outside the organization and assimilating them to the values of the group. I want to challenge that and say, well, what we want in the workplace is also for people to show up as their authentic self. So how do you balance assimilation versus authenticity?
Even say, for instance, my conversation with my boss, I just want to make sure that I protect my authenticity. I don't want to be changed by what others are telling me to do. And that same thing that I'm seeing right here in the organization, that we definitely look into the diversity of the leaders that we have coming from external environment. We don't want to remove that from themselves of who they are, because for us that's very important. So when we say assimilation into the culture of the organization, we just want to be very clear in terms of what are those key things or key ways that we are on how we do things. And before we decide on anything in the organization, we just want to make sure everything is aligned with the core values. We ensure that we put in place different types of actual scenarios that are happening in the organizations, and how do we exactly attack them, or how do we address them aligning or anchoring them to the core values of the organization, but not really changing them, but really respecting the diversity of our employees.
Right, nice answer. I want to play back what I took from it, and please, I would like to hear your views about my takeaway here. So I'm hearing that you are doing some expectation setting, you're setting some boundaries, but then within those boundaries, you're then encouraging people to show up as themselves. How does that sit with you? And to bring their
Absolutely.
superpowers to the table, because you employed them for a reason. You didn't employ them to come in and tell them what to do. You employed them because they're talented. So we're setting some boundaries, and then we're letting them be themselves.
Totally. That's correct, Mick.
Hey everyone, it's Mick Spiers from the Leadership Project, where we empower leaders with the knowledge and skills that they need to create amazing teams and amazing workspaces. If you're enjoying our content, please do remember to hit like, subscribe, and that little notification bell so that you can be notified of all of our future videos. In the meantime, please do take care, look out for each other, and join us on this journey as we learn together and lead together.